So I've been doing a bit of thinking, checking my privilege and, making sure that I take off my invisible backpack that rewards me for being a white, cisgendered male person, you know. And sometimes you take that shit seriously, and sometimes you don't. But today, I was thinking about the Thunderfoot 4 and how I had talked about 3 of them and not the 4th one. Now, that was Laughing Witch, Jenny McDermott, Bewildered Ape, and the 4th person that said that they had sent a letter was Hannibal the Victor 13. So, him being the last one, it's funny that I haven't talked about him, but mostly I didn't because I don't know much of the story. I know that he YouTube-icided because allegations came forth in a really shady way that he had been convicted and put on a sex offender registry for a crime which amounted to he was part of a police sting of internet predators, To Catch a Predator style, and he was chatting with someone and got caught. And it wasn't a young girl that he was talking to, it was a police officer. And I know that there's probably more from him. I've heard secondhand from other people that he's talked to, but I really don't feel like I know the whole story other than what that charge entails. You can read, on his court documents what number, what subsection it is, and then you can see what that charge entails. And that's it. That's all I know. So, I was thinking about what happened with Jenny McDermott yesterday, how she was trying to butter up the people who participate in the 8chan Baphomet thread, and how she ridiculously posted pictures of herself without removing the EXIF data, and she probably has on her phone GPS tracking, all of the features turned on, so that's how the EXIF data gets into the pictures. And so all you need is a browser add-on that'll give you data of all the pictures right there, or you could just go to exifdata.com and put in the photos that she uploaded, and you can find her GPS coordinates. And she dropped herself in a different way in that respect. But that's not what I'm thinking about here. Okay? What I want you guys to think about is how old do you think someone is when they participate in something like lolcows or Baphomet on 8chan or 4chan or any of those websites? How old do you think people are when they participate in that? Comment below. What do you think the average age of somebody who uses that site for laughs is? They're very into potty humor and bullying and whatnot, and I would assume that their average age would be in the range of a teenager. So then you have this 30-year-old woman in her early 30s posting a picture of herself in lingerie and asking them if they would come join her in a Google Hangout to talk to them on Friday night, because she just wants to get to know them and get to know the whole culture of what they do. And I might be a horrible MRA men's rights activist for this. I've been painted as one because of not agreeing with feminists more radical than I am, so I'm not a feminist anymore. And I guess I'm nothing now, but it took me a whole day to realize that I didn't connect the dots here and realize that Jenny McDermott did something worse than Hannibal the Victor 13 did and got convicted for, because she's soliciting people that, one could assume probably on average they're minors there, or at least there are a bunch of minors in that group, and she's soliciting people with pictures of herself to go into hangouts with her, and those pictures are of her in lingerie. When Hannibal the Victor 13 was convicted, there was at least a police woman or man, whoever it was, that was pretending to be that young girl. There was at least some entrapment in that, some police involvement. Jenny McDermott did it of her own free volition, without any coaxing from police. She did something like that, and because of the culture we live in, it's not seen as creepy. If I were to go into a chat room where you would assume that it's mostly teenage girls, and I posted a picture of myself in underwear to prove that it was me, and asked all the girls to go hang out in a Google Hangout with me, I would want everyone to call me out for it. I would. Why is it not creepy when it's the other way around? Well, because we're all sexists, I guess, in our culture. Because I haven't seen anyone else bring up this point either. But yeah, I haven't talked much about that fourth person in the Thunderfoot 4, and I realize that there's more than just the four. There were some unnamed people who sent letters, and there's people that we add on to that group of people. So it's more like how the Three Stooges had Larry, Shuck, Curly, and Moe, which counts, which amounts to four people when you're saying three, but those were the four main culprits that were named in Thunderfoot's video. So it's weird that I didn't talk about Hannibal the Victor 13. And a stranger, because I had just talked about Tattoo Skin 72, and before that talked about Eagle Eye 1975. Now, in Eagle Eye 1975's case, I went to his house, interviewed him, met his kids, and found out that he was completely upfront about it, repentant, admitting what he did, and was working towards becoming a better person. And now he is a soccer mom, and his kids love him. And if you were to contact him and ask to talk to his kids about him, he would probably put them right there on Skype for you. And they would be able to tell you themselves what he has done for them in that day. That's how soccer momish he is. He's very dedicated to his kids, and he feels like he came out a better person for all the therapy and whatnot that he went through, and all the classes and child raising lectures and whatnot. But people will still condemn him for what happened that day. On the flip side, when Tattoo Skin 72 had his stuff leaked out in the way that it was leaked out, a lot of people said, "Oh, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about," even though those court documents were quite specific, specific enough. And then Tattoo Skin 72 just last week made a video, and a lot of people were still, holding out and saying, "We still support you," and whatnot. And I felt like it kind of fell on political lines there. Like, if you identify with someone's politics, you're more likely to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because the people who condemn Eagle Eye 1975 for what he did that one day, and is completely upfront about, those are the people that are still willing to hear out Tattoo Skin 72. And when I saw in the comments of Tattoo Skin 72's video an exchange that he had between he and a guy named Harry Hand, which is probably, I hope, just an internet handle. He said, "Well, yeah, it was underage, if you consider 17 underage." And I was like, that's your nephew. I don't know if it's politically incorrect to say that it's wrong to engage in incest if it's two consenting people, and 17 is consenting enough to have incest in a consensual relationship. I don't know, but to me, it doesn't feel right. And I also feel like people who start their relationships with young people at an early age, they should not have relationships with them later on, because they could have been grooming them for that relationship when they got to that age. And to say that somebody just had their first spark of romance at that age, and that was the first time it was thought of, that's, to me, it's a stretch, And this is at least as bad as, say, President Clinton getting a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky, because that was his intern, and he was in a position of authority. Okay, it's worse when you are an uncle and you are a family member of someone. And that's, when I saw what he wrote in the comments section, I'm like, and there's all these people still giving him the benefit of the doubt and still damning Eagle Eye 1975. And the only thing that I can think of that is the reason is it falls on politics. That's it. People will give people more chances if they identify with the same politics as them. And that's why I'm not really jumping on Hannibal the Victor 13 right now. It's because he's on the outs with a lot of people over politics. And, I know what I know, and I could go to Tattoo Skin 72 personally, or Hannibal the Victor 13 personally. I could go visit them just like I did Jared, Eagle Eye 1975. I don't think that it would make much of a difference with Hannibal the Victor 13 to meet with him, because the other side of the story is a policeman who's not going to talk. Now, Tattoo Skin 72 has said in his video that some people think they know stuff and they're just stupid because they haven't heard it from him, If I were to go to his town to get the real story, just like I did Eagle Eye 1975, I would want to see I'd want to see the story of his nephew. And I don't think that that's something that he would want to provide, or I even want to dig up. But I can tell you what, just having his side in addition to the court records is not the whole story. So the people that are supporting him through all this don't have the whole story. And as far as anyone saying, well, these people that are talking shit, they haven't talked to me personally and they haven't even made an attempt. Well, I could show where I have made attempts in certain ways, but I'll just say that that's a two-way street. If there's somebody who you feel like is doing you wrong in public, you are welcome to approach them as well. And I feel like if you don't, you're probably happy with the gray area that you have. You're probably happy with some people not knowing everything and still giving you the benefit of the doubt, because if they did know everything, a few of them might leave you. So if anyone wants to talk to me about any of that stuff, that's fine. But I feel like we're winding down to the end of the drama cycle. And I'd say if it's going to make a difference in your life, you should try it. But I don't think it's going to make much of a difference to anyone's reputation at this point. So, take care, everyone, and maybe try to look beyond who you identify with politically or emotionally when you decide matters of who you're going to associate with and who you're going to believe.